Oh, hello, and welcome. Come on in, get seated, get excited about what we're going to cover tonight. My name is Anthony Carter. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are on the planet. As I said, my name is Anthony Carter. I am the host, the madman, the producer, the great mind, the brilliant mind behind a movement entitled That Plant Life. That Plant Life is a movement dedicated to supporting Black men ages 40 to 60 who are committed to combating hypertension without the use of medication and the addition of a whole food plant based lifestyle. Let me say that one more time for the cheap seats in the back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the planet. My name is Anthony Carter. I'm the host, producer, madman, and thinker behind That Plant Life, a movement dedicated to supporting Black men ages 40 to 60 who are committed to combating hypertension without the use of medication and the addition of a whole food plant based lifestyle. Now, let me tell you a story. I'm going to take you back almost 30 years ago, 1995. Picture it. Um, I gave up everything. I mentioned this a couple of talks ago. I gave up my apartment in Detroit, left my job at the phone company, and moved to Japan. And it was a dream I'd had for a very long time. I probably had wanting to do it for I wanted to go to Asia, for 7 years. I wanted to go to Japan for 2 or 3, and I figured out a way to go very cheaply. And while I was there, I moved there in an effort to, get to New York City. So I was gonna go move to New York City to be an artist. I was gonna sing, be on all these stages and write, right? So one of the things I did when I was in Japan, I was singing every day. I was working with some young people. I was giving them English skills and some social skills. And one of the things I did every day while I was in Japan, and I ended up doing it in a world festival while I lived in Japan, a little known secret, I got to sing Blackbird every day. So it's a song by the Beatles, and I got to sing Blackbird every day. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm singing this song again. But I did it every day for almost a month and a half. Believe it or not, I was like being on tour. But I bring it up because it is on Beyonce Knowles' new album, Cowboy Carter. Now, I think we're related. I'm waiting on a check because my last name is Carter. Her last name is Carter. I don't need all the money, but a simple check will do. And the fact that I was singing Blackbird way back in 1995, almost 30 years ago, there should be some kind of connection there. All right. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. Excuse me. So come on in and welcome. The title of my talk today is Everything in Moderation is Going to Make Everything Take That Much Longer. And the reason I'm talking about moderation, the reason I'm talking about Boy Carter and Beyonce and Blackbird is because Beyonce doesn't do anything in moderation. You know when her album is coming out. You know when it's out. Whatever she's got cooking up, when it comes out, you know it. There's no moderation. It's not kind of a launch or a little bit of thing. It's a blast, right? So moderation does not work. This is what I want to talk about today. And how does this affect health and food? I will tell you, my friends. Moderation with food and moderating yourself to health is not the way to go. You cannot moderate yourself out of a situation that you moderated yourself into. Give it up. It doesn't work. Let me talk about how many times I've tried to moderate myself. Okay, so when I decided to get healthy years and years and years ago, I decided I was going to moderate, right? So I'd have my coffee, and instead of having half and half and sugar, I've switched moderation, 2% milk and raw sugar, brown sugar. That was healthier for me. That was a better choice. Here's another way I try to moderate. I'd go out to restaurants, right? I'd have dessert, which meant no appetizer. Or if I had an appetizer, that meant no dessert. That was my take on moderating and, cutting back. Here's another one. How many of you out there like chips? I used to love chips. I still like chips, right? Well, I switched the chips. I went from the kettle cooked, which I swear they put crack on those chips. I went from kettle cooked to the low sodium, right? The less salt, right? These companies know to keep it very sexy. They put it on the package, less sodium, less salt, which means for those of us who are addicts in our minds, that means, oh, I can double up. I can eat more of them, right? What about um my personal favorite, right? The one that used to get me in trouble all the time, which is red velvet. Once again, like those chips, they put something in red velvet. I don't know if it's the frosting, I don't know if it's the batter, but they put something in red velvet that just keeps you coming back, right? I used to go to a place in California when before I moved here, before I moved to Connecticut, moved back to the East Coast. I used to live in California. There was a restaurant, no lie. They had a cake, blue velvet. You ever heard of that? When I first heard about that blue velvet cake, I had my keys in my hand. I asked my coworker, "Where is it? Give me the address." I was peeling out. I had to leave the office to go hunt up this blue velvet cake, right? Once again, moderation. Moderate the cake, right? This is what I'm thinking. I'll have a piece or I'll have a bite. That does not work. That's what got me into trouble. But how does this affect your health? How does this show up in health? Well, you can't moderate yourself to health, people. It does not work. I've tried it, I've lived it. I know it does not work, right? The same thing that got you into trouble, you can't do the same thing to move you out of trouble, right? Here's another example. Dave Ramsey talks about that, right? How you can wander into debt. We've all done it, right? You wander into debt, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You look up in your debt. You can't wander out. You have to be deliberate. So it's the same thing with food. Let's give up the moderation talk. I'm going to do a whole rant on that coming up in the future, but it might be a little much for tonight, but it's coming. Let me tell you, this whole talk about moderation is a personal pet peeve because I've tried it and I know it doesn't work. And my moderation got me into the doctor's office and got me on medication, right? So to get off medication, I did not moderate myself off medication. I hard down, flat out, left some things alone. All right. So of the talk. Everything in moderation is going to cause everything to take that much longer. Why are we putting it off? Why are we putting off our health? The great health starts now. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait till next week. You may not be here next week. There's no guarantee that any of us are going to be here next week, the week after that. So don't do it, right? All right. Well, that's enough for tonight, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments. Here's your call to action. As always, if you like what you see, you like what you hear, share with a friend, tell a buddy, send people my way. I got some goodies coming up for you very soon about how you can work with me, how we can stop all this moderation and get healthy and take our health back. Please, 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 if you want to know what moderation did to me and what I did to let it go and move into health, check out my film. It's in the bottom of this screen. It's in the comment section. It's called Ask the Old Guy. We are trying to get to 1,000 views by the end of next month. So please, please, please help us with that. Join us with that. I'll sign off here now. Go eat some vegetables, be good to yourself, and eat like you got some sense. Talk to you soon.